All right, well, welcome everybody to this week's client support webinar. My name is Bennett McDowell with traderscoach.com, and it is great to be here and great to have you here. All right, so Jeannie, I've got you online here. Why don't you, if you have anything you want to talk about, feel free to come on and make some announcements.
Absolutely. Well, welcome everybody. And just to test the software for GoToWebinar, how about if you all give me a hello or a maybe type in the country you're watching from or city you're watching from in the questions area. And while you're doing that, I'll mention that Bennett loves questions during this weekly session that we all come to on Wednesdays at 9:30 a.m. Pacific. And while I'm on the audio, I'll have to give a shout out to Medhat Iskander, all the way in Egypt. Medhat, great to see you here. So if you have trouble with the Medhat, just so you know, the questions area is where you can type questions to Bennett, and I know you're very hot on getting information on the current markets because they're kind of crazy. So type in a hello there if you can. And while you're doing that, hello to Doug from Wisconsin and Faye, good to see you. Joseph from the country of chaos, USA. And Paul Klein, good to see you here from New Jersey. And I'm glad Doug seems to have liked the YouTube this week. Yes, I know. Very important YouTube message. And for those of you who haven't joined our YouTube channel, I will post a link to do that now. And Bennett, I'll turn it back over to you.
All right, a couple announcements. One of the things about client support, it's not really a webinar designed to go over the markets in terms of the Dow and what forecasts. We have subscription services for that. So the client support is mainly to go over any questions that you may have on course material, software, and yes, we can look at specific markets for educational purposes, but I don't want to get into an analysis over the overall market. I will tell you, we are in a tremendous downtrend right now. We have target levels picked out and all that kind of stuff. That's all available. Sometimes I go over it very briefly on our YouTube channel on Stock Analysis Friday, but I kind of like to keep this specifically for questions that you have on software, how to use it, maybe some settings, and generic questions on risk control and Elliott wave and things of that nature. So that's kind of what this is for. We're only here a half an hour, so I don't want to tie up the whole thing with going over a total market forecast. So just kind of keep that in mind. Let me just go through some administrational items here. Medhat, it's great to have you here. My goodness, Medhat is a client, old-time client and friend. It's been with us for years and years, and it's good to have you back. All right, so let's take a look, talk a little bit about the risks. You know, we have to cover this. There are risks involved in trading the financial markets. You need to be able to calculate your trade size, known as your position size on each and every trade, to control that risk as much as possible. And also too, you know, if we talk about any ideas or stocks, please run those by your financial advisor to make sure any of the ideas or recommendations are suitable for you. All right, I've got a number of books out there. My newest book, and Medhat, this may interest you, is the one on money management for traders. And this is a concise book on how to implement a solid risk control program into your current style of trading, no matter what it is, no matter what time frame you trade. It basically gives you the calculations and the synopsis on what to do that. It is a kind of a basic bullet points of the larger book I have on risk control called the Trader's Money Management System. So think of it almost like a cliff notes of the money management system. All right, and then we've got the Art of Trading, and I'm coming out with the second edition in the spring. And I got the Survival Guide for Traders and then Elliott Wave Techniques Simplified. So those are all available at Amazon. And I got a variety of software, and Medhat, we've added a lot more tools, I think, since you've been here. We've got this upper band is all our charting software. This is the ART, AL, PTF, TLM, ERI. Then we have scanners here, multiple time frame, trade confirmer, turbo, Elliott wave, and then risk control down here as well. Now, if you're using, okay, if you're using the old trade size calculator, what I recommend also is checking out the risk to reward calculator. So basically what we've done here is we've added this portion to the calculator where it gives where you put your target price in, and then it gives you your risk to reward numbers and target price as well. So that's really very handy, and you can upgrade from the trade size calculator as well, okay? Okay, so this is TradeStation, all right, and then of course we got NinjaTrader as well. All right, here's the Dow, so I'll just quickly say that I think we're gonna bounce up here before heading back down again. So probably 30,795 to 32,080 is our short-term target for that. Okay, so you can check that out. All right, let's take a look quickly at some markets here that I think kind of are interesting and a good educational synopsis here. So here we got Bitcoin. There's a lot of information on Bitcoin out there, both on YouTube and in the news. You know, it's pretty much a split camp, and some people think it's a fraud. Some people think it's going to soar when the market sells off. And there you have it. So there's a lot of opinions, a lot of information. And that's okay to look at that, but you don't want to make any decisions on entering the market until you've actually had a chance to look at the charts, because the charts really represent the truth of the market. So if we take a look at Bitcoin here, you know, this was classic. It went way up and then way down, okay, all the way down. So if you were a buy and holder and bought it here, you'd basically be right back where you started, right? So, you know, this also illustrates the advantages of trading up here and short it down here. And now what do we do? So we're actually looking at this for a buy. Okay, I'm looking at this to buy into this. And I'm purely going by the charts. I think it's a little early yet, but I've got to tell you, it's getting close. We're starting to see this type of range-bound bottom. All right, we've got some bullishness on the short-term chart yet. We still have a red owl here, so I can't go long until that goes green. All right, and we've got bullish divergence now building. So you're starting to see all the characteristics, if we start connecting the dots, of a possible bottom in Bitcoin. So you want to watch this one like a hawk, and this one could be a nice trade at some point. All right, so we'll kind of keep an eye on that. I not 100% sold on a long position right now until that owl gets to be green on the daily chart. So if you notice, I've got three screens or three charts up here, and this is the 60, this is the daily, and then this over here is the weekly. So this is the long-term look, the intermediate term look, and the short-term look on the same stock. And in this case, we were analyzing GBTC. So by looking at three different time frames, it helps us get an overall picture of what's going on, and also gives us more precise entries of when to pull the trigger, okay? So there you have it. All right, and yeah, many think it will go down to zero, okay? So we have to kind of watch it, all right? So if we take a trade on anything, not just GBTC, but on anything, we want to calculate our trade size, right? So make sure you always do that. So if the trade fails, it's no different than losing on any trade. And this sets us apart from the people that tend to gamble in the market and bet the farm on GBTC or any type of Bitcoin play or any stock for that matter. Risk control is the key. All right, so we'll keep watching on this, and we'll kind of have an idea of what's going on here. All right, so Doug's saying, thank you for the YouTube this week. Are we in C wave? I think we are, yes. I think C wave is going to be it's basically has 5 waves in it. So we're in the process of unfolding. All right, let's see what else here. All right, so MedHap, when you're ready, if you're gonna add those indicators, talk to Jean first, okay, and do that through her, okay? All right, Sue, okay, Faye can hear, everything is good, we're in good shape. All right, so that's GBTC. Now, the other one I wanted to look at today, and again, if you have any questions on anything, feel free to ask, is this is USO. All right, now USO is the ETF for oil. And this is one that I kind of would like to get long on, but it's not quite ready yet. And I'm not sure the correction is over yet. So we hit the target zone of where I think oil was coming down, but I've got to wait for this to turn green before I can take a trade on this. And then if I take a trade, I might put my stop pretty far down under here and lower my trade size, just in case it takes another dip. I'm not sure exactly what I want to do with that yet. Depends how bullish it looks when I'm thinking about taking the trade at that point. So we'll see what happens with that. I do expect it to go back up, but as you can see, we still have some bearishness that needs to be worked out. So USO is one we kind of want to watch as well. All right, the other one I wanted to take a look at are the bonds, TLT. Okay, TLT is still heading down. And I think this is another one we kind of want to keep an eye on, because I think it's getting close to a target, which we've got around 91 to 73. It's currently at 102. So it's still coming down. We got a bearish PTF on the 60-minute chart on the far left. That's this indicator here. And if anybody doesn't know what that means or how it works, let me know. MedHat, you may not. Basically, the PTF, whenever it's red, it has a 75% accuracy rate. So basically, it's saying find the lowest price in the red area, and there's a 75% chance that the market is going to return and go below that area. Vice versa when it's green, and when it's yellow, it's neutral. All right, so this is kind of working its way down to that target zone. I'd like to buy this at some point. I think this may do well as the market gets, the equities market starts to really tumble. All right, so we'll keep an eye on that one. You can't look at these without looking at gold. And I think the ETF for gold is a good one to look at this particular point. The PTF is green on the weekly chart, so it looks like we're going to make some all-time new highs. But as you can see, okay, it was moving down for quite a bit, but it's starting to rebound. All right, we have a bullish 60-minute chart. I think we went above, this was important here, we went above this pyramid. Let's just check this. It was close to going above last time I looked at it. So the high was 161.62, and this is 161.08. Okay, let me just make sure I got that right. 161.08, and this is 161. So it did not break the bearish pyramid. So I can't go long against a bearish P pyramid, but also I don't have a green owl yet as well. So I got to wait for this to unwind a little bit, but possibly a long trade coming up in this too. We've got bullish divergence in the owl as well. So we'll kind of keep an eye on that. All right, and then finally also too, silver is another one that's been popular. This was recommended by a lot of quote unquote YouTube gurus back when it was up around 25 bucks. And it's come back down. So always look at the charts, even if somebody you like recommends it, because the charts will tell you what they don't. And the idea here is we got a red PTF, so I can't go long on this. Red PTF on the daily chart. We're in a move to the upside. Here's our little target area that we thought prices would get up to, and so they did. So we're moving up into that target area. And at this case here, we've got a green PTF, which means it's not done moving up on the 60-minute chart. So probably going to go a little deeper into the target zone before it sells off. So we want to watch this. As it moves up, if it stays red, the PTF, then chances are it's going to fall down and make one more low again. So we're not quite ready to go long yet, but we won't miss it. All right, and this is what you need to be doing on every market that interests you, even if it comes from a reliable source. Always check it out. Now, the other thing I wanted to also just mention here is if you get a call from your broker, okay, and he says the market has sold off, this is a great time to buy. All right, that is something they have been conditioned to do because it works in a bull market. You know, a bull market, every pullback is followed usually by a higher high. However, now that we think we're actually in a bear market, so now we're coming down, every pullback in the bear market, okay, is just that, a temporary pullback or bullishness offset by more selling. So that strategy that the broker uses during a bull market will not work in a bear market. It will actually hurt you because you'll be adding on to your positions, and then as the market goes down, you'll have losses on those positions. So you kind of want to check the charts and be very careful about anything that is recommended to you from anybody, whether it's your broker or whatever. And personally, I think the market is in a downtrend and going down much, much further. And so therefore, I would be reluctant to buy anything at this time. If anything, I would be liquidating and trying to generate some cash so I have it to do either some short-term plays or possibly just hoard it so I can survive the downtrend and then have cash available to me at the very bottom, because that's where the bargains will be, okay? So it's just different schools of thought, and determines on what kind of risk you want to take. If you don't want to make money on the short trade, you can just hoard the cash and then buy stocks when they get really cheap and then make it on the way back up. So it just depends on your level of risk and how much money you got, okay? And what your situation is in life. But I think at this particular point, my recommendation to everybody is just try to raise as much cash as you can and hoard it. And that way, if the market does sell off, you'll have that available at the very least for safety, okay? All right, so any other questions coming in? Anything else? Everybody good on risk control and how to use all the tools?
Hey, Ben, I don't know if you noticed, but I posted a link. And guess what?
Go over that. One more thing that you guys should know, and I think most of all of you know here, but Manhattan, you're new here, and so are some others that are here today. All the recordings that I do for the client support are located on our YouTube page or channel. And you can access that by going to the website, and you'll see on the upper right-hand side of any page, you'll see our little YouTube icon. You click on that and then subscribe, okay? And that way you'll be able to look at some of the videos in the client support area. So they're pretty much hidden, okay? We hide the client support ones because we don't want those out. And once you're subscribed, then you can access through the direct link located in Customer Hub, our client support portal. So that's available for you to review all those, all of these client support videos at any time. And we have different topics, and I try to kind of put up what we covered that particular day. All right. So the idea, if you're using our tools already, the idea when you use them is you first want to master them on one time frame. So know what the OWL does down here, know what the PTF does, know what the Trendline Master does, and the ERI, Fear and Greed Index, does. And then know what the ART system does, know what the reversals do. Master that on one chart first. So get all those signals down. And then once you do that, all right, then you start connecting the dots on what each time frame tells you of the same symbol. So I'll take a look at the weekly chart, the daily, and the 60-minute and see what those indicators are telling me. And one set of analysis will be for the long-term view. One set will be my primary view, which is usually my chart in the center. And then one set is based off the 60-minute chart, the short view. And so that way, if I get ready to take a trade on the 1 minute time frame, I kind of have an idea, am I going with the trend on the weekly, or is this a counter trend trade, but enough profit available to me that I can take the trade, and then I wait for the shorter time frames to give me the signal for the counter trend trade. All right, so it's kind of a symphony of comparing the different connecting of the dots in order to get the entire picture of what's going on. And it's really great. Once you get it down, it's so easy to analyze a market really quickly that it's basically like riding a bike. Once you got it, you got it. It's that simple. So that's pretty much all I have to cover today. Now, if you're using TradeStation, we set up our charts exactly the same on TradeStation. We have the 3 time frames. Here's the 60 here, the daily here, and the weekly here. And then, of course, if you're day trading, we set those up differently for intraday markets and things like that. I'm going to be coming out with a course for day traders on basically how to do it and what markets I recommend, what time frames I recommend, scaling out recommendations. So it's going to be pretty good, and it's based off a lot of what we do in our day trading room that we have. So I think that's going to be really helpful to everybody. And so if you're thinking about day trading the markets, that's going to be a good course for you. All right, so anything else? Well, it was my pleasure being here today. All right, we have Wednesday Night Live coming up, I think, at the end of the month. So that is coming up. Those that are in the Oracle Market service, we'll have our webinar coming up in another week or so. So I'll see many of you there. And I think that's it. And I'll be back next week. Every Wednesday we have these. So if you have a particular question on your chart setup, on anything, and even a problem, if you're having a problem with something and it's not working right, we can help troubleshoot you right here. Okay, so that's kind of important. All right, so thanks for tuning in, everybody. And we'll see you back here next week if there's no more questions. And I think we're all set. All right, well, Medhat, thank you. Great to have you here as well, okay? Glad you're doing good. All right, everybody, we'll see you next week. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.